Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and I figured it was time to do a tour of the LEGO room in its current state. It is not yet done. There is a lot of work to still do, especially in the form of decorating. That's going to be a big part of this, actually. I've got a little bit of it up, but not much of it. So, where am I currently? I have almost completely finished processing Dr. Flux's collection. The bulk brick is now all done. I just finished doing the Technic. I've got a lot more Technic parts than I thought. And the only thing left is Minifigs. So there are some Minifigs that still need to get sorted out. They've been organized and built, and I have a video on that I need to get edited and uploaded. But they need to get integrated into the rest of the collection. Here we have my work area, my work table, which now does have lovely lighting. It's very, very nice. Need to get an air conditioner up here, though, because it gets warm. I have the Lego... What is this? Lego Space Challenge award I won back in 1995 and got a free monorail out of it. It's 2 lovely patches that have been to space, apparently. So that gets a place of honor right above my work table. Got some bins of stuff that needs to get sorted. This was the remains of my oldest Lego pirate ship that got dismantled. I did a video about that too, still haven't edited it. I am so far behind on my Lego content. I got a lot of stuff filmed and just never got it edited and uploaded. Random stuff over here, random stuff over here, that all needs to get sorted. So, I still have lots of sorting to do, which is good because I had a really, really stressful week, and sorting Lego really, really helps. And things are finally really coming together up here, and it's been very helpful. Over here, in an area that does not yet have light, we have my Lego castle. And it is more or less put back together. There is a lot of work to do here yet. Turns out the table is not quite solid enough, and I'm going to have to take all of this off to reinforce the table. And I probably will put it on casters so that I can move it around, because this room isn't really big enough for this table. If I have it up against one wall, I can get around one side, but then I can't get to the other side if I move it to the other side. So I'd like to be able to pull it out or rotate it around and stuff like that. There is also, because I made the table wider and longer, the castle is now properly centered. I don't know if that's really coming across. Can you tell? Can you tell? I think so. It's just a little bit wider on this side so that it's properly centered. And I made it longer and made the road half the width that it was, the main road, so that I can then add a second road. So there's a whole bunch of gaps in the village now where I'm going to get to build more buildings, and that's going to be really fun because there are a bunch of building ideas I really wanted and just I ran out of room for. So now I have plenty of additional room. The jousting area got a little bit smaller. I added a second dock for the city. So there was a dock at the castle, but there wasn't one at the city, and now there is one for the city. So there'll be basically an import dock master type building, and then a bunch more interesting buildings. Expanded some stuff. I'm working on adding a second farm back there, which will be a wheat farm. So this will be more like a vegetable. Okay, I don't know if you can see that one. You cannot hurt. So this farm will be vegetables and animals, and then the one over there will be wheat. That's why it's got a windmill over there. Yeah, gonna be fun. Gonna expand the forest, add a few more trees. It's because it's a little bit extra room both on that end and in the front, so I'll be able to add a little bit more there. Yeah. Working on adding more details to the castle. I want to keep that classic 1980s, early 90s castle feel, but just a little bit more detail. So, like the bricks that are on the underside that flare the wall. Those are now dark gray, and it just gives it a little bit more color. Plus, I really needed those light gray parts for something else. So, and it turns out they're really expensive, which was odd. So, yeah, that's what's going on with the castle table. Let's go take a look at the pirates. And yeah, it is dark. The lighting over here is not as good. I need to get lighting for this area. This is going to be my Star Wars corner. Can I get a light? Do I have a light? I think I've got a light in a closet over here. Slight detour to the Star Wars section. So this gable is going to be all of the Star Wars stuff. And it's just going to be all of the sets put up on display and possibly little dioramas and stuff like that. Wire shelving is what I'm going with. This side will be the Rebels. The other side will be the Imperials. Or not Rebels. I'll probably put, the Slave 1 over there. Got a lot of big sets, and I'm starting to worry about space because I've got the UCS X-Wing, the UCS Slave 1. I've got one of the UCS Star Destroyer, the UTS Tantive 4, and a UCS Millennium Falcon. All of that need to fit up in here. So, yeah. I'll find a way, or I'll make a way. There's more room to be had if I adjust some stuff. I may have to add another whole row of shelves, move these over a little bit more, and put in another row of shelves. Well, I'll find a way. Well, it'll happen. Don't give me that. Don't judge me. You don't know me. Now, when I started taking a look at the state of my fleet, I realized that it was actually almost complete, which baffled me, because I was definitely not expecting that. Turns out I had a lot more pirate ships than I thought, and there wasn't quite as many out there that I thought. So I now have, in fact, 2 Caribbean Clippers. I was sent another Caribbean Clipper, need to get the build video on that out. It actually has the right flags, or sails. These are printed. Found them, files online, was able to just print them out because I didn't have the original ones. But you'll see the build video on that. Black Seas Barracuda. So the Caribbean Clipper, Black Seas Barracuda were released together. You then had the Renegade Runner, the Imperial Flagship, and the Skull's Eye Schooner were all released in the next generation. And these 2 have been rebuilt by me in the past, upgraded and all of that, and I want to rebuild them by the book, and then I will, again, upgrade them again. Skull's Eye Schooner, I didn't actually... here's a question for a philosopher. At what point do you actually own a Lego set? So, like 15 years ago, I bought, maybe even more than that, pretty sure, actually, I know it was more than that. Many years ago, I bought just the sails. I got them in an auction on eBay that I very dishonorably sniped at the last second and got a bunch of sails for a bunch of ships. But that was I didn't have the actual set. I then went to build it. I had two of the Black Seas Barracuda, so I used the Black Seas Barracuda's hull and masts and all of that. And I parted it out, and I was missing a grand total of 3 parts. The forward, the stern and the aft hull, and there's a printed part on the back of the ship. And those are the only 3 parts that I didn't have. This was back when they didn't have a lot of specialty parts like they do nowadays. And so just from my own vast collection, I was able to pull out everything except those 3 parts. And so I ordered those on Bricklink, and now I have all of the parts to build it. And so the question is, do I own this set? Very fascinating question that really only comes up in Lego. The next generation was one that I absolutely do not like, and you will get to hear my rants about this whole line when I build these ships. We have the Crossbone Clipper, the Armada Flagship, and the Redbeard Runner, and I don't mind the Armada Flagship, but those 2, oh, you'll hear my rants. Then we have one that I don't actually have complete, and it was Brickbeard's Bounty. And I'm also not a huge fan of it, but not as much of a fan as I am of this ship. And I got this in a collection buyout, and it wasn't entirely complete, and I I haven't actually sat down and tried to completely rebuild it. This is just what I was able to rebuild from the collection that I acquired. I didn't try drawing from my own collection to finish it out. So I do plan to try to finish this. I think I have some of the sails. If not, I have the files to print the sails, and I'll be able to do that. Then have an Armada, or the new Imperial flagship. And this was the biggest pirate ship that they ever made. It is a full 3-mast ship. Has 4 hull sections, whereas the Skull's Eye schooner and the Black Sea's Barracuda only had 3, and then these two only had 2, so they were considerably smaller. And that is a really, really nice set. It is really well built. There's lots of interior detail. It's built up. It has a full lower deck. It has a full captain's quarters. It's just a really nice set. And that's kind of the standard to which I want to bring all the other sets up to. That and kind of the standard of the new Barracuda over there. Then we get to the one ship that I am missing, which is the Brick Bounty, which was released, I think, 7 years. I want to say this one came out in 2009, and this one came out in 2016. I could have those numbers wrong, but I think that's what it was. And this is one that I don't have yet. I've been looking on Brick Shelf, and there's one, or Bricklink, and there is one there, but it's a little bit more than I'd like to pay. I have perhaps some of the parts. I have parts of a hull, and I have no idea where they came from. I might have bought them at Bricks and Wheels at some point. So I need to actually look up the instructions, look up the parts list on Bricklink, and pull out from my collection what all do I have. How close am I to being able to finish that ship? What would it cost to just buy the missing parts as opposed to buying the whole set? We'll see. Then I have the Black Pearl, the Queen Anne's Revenge, and the new Black Sea's Barracuda. And so, yeah, I had no idea I was this close to being able to complete it. And I have a bunch of extra hulls that I've acquired from various places, so I'm not... We'll see what I end up doing. I do then have a couple of little ships, little fully brick-built ships, which were based off of the one that came with the Imperial Trading Post, which I didn't own until I built it, but I didn't actually, once again, I built it, but I didn't own it until I got Captain Flux, or Dr. Flux's collection. And he had the Imperial Trading Post, so I now actually have that one. And I had looked up the instructions online on how to build the little brick-built ship that came with it, and then built a few more of my own. But yeah, I've got the base on this corner for the red faction, which I'm claiming are the British, the blue faction over here, which I'm claiming are the French, and then since Dr. Flux had that set, and I had another one of those base plates, there will be a third Spanish faction over there. And I will need to build them a big fancy galleon, and it will be lovely. And then the pirate base will be over here, and that's what I will do with, since obviously this table is, even this big table is not big enough for this many ships at once. It's just, they take up the entire table. And so a lot of these ships are, I'm going to take the ones that I really like, build up them to be a little bit better standard, better build quality, more detailing and all of that. And then some of the ones that I really don't like, I'm looking at you, Redbeard Runner, they will end up part of the pirate base in the form of a shipwreck cove, where it's a pirate city made out of wrecked ships with bridges between them, and the ships have been altered into buildings, and very much the way that they did the new Barracuda Bay, but on a larger scale. I've always wanted to, since I was a little kid, I've wanted to build that, and now I'm gonna. And it'll be all the way around that pillar. There'll be a whole bunch of them, and then there'll be a big jungle section where the islanders are, and there'll probably be islanders out in an island, and it'll be fun. It is gonna be fun. I'll be able to set up naval battles and trading routes between the bases, and I'll slowly start building colonies for each of them with a series of buildings very similar to the way my castle is set up. The forts will get bigger, and there'll be docks and all of that, and it's gonna be fabulous. All right. Now, for something that I think is pretty cool, I've been wanting, I'm not quite done with it yet, but it's enough that I'm ready to show it off. I've started building a vintage Lego collection, very similar to the vintage Nerf collection I have in my Nerf in the makerspace. Obviously, all of these vintage pirate ships. But then I started collecting vintage space, or rather not collecting, but building vintage space and vintage castle to go on display. So we have some early stuff here. We then have Space Police 1, Blacktron 1, I have all of it except for the base, which I do own the base, I just don't have room for it here. We've got a whole bunch of the M-Tron. There's one or two that I don't have that I could probably build or acquire the parts for easily enough. Space Police 2, and then Blacktron 2, second generation, over there. And I've got most of them. I don't have that base, but I've got, I think, pretty much all of the ships. There might be one or two vehicles I haven't built yet, but again, running out of room. Then we have a blank spot here that was made today because I realized that in Dr. Flux's collection is the yellow Lego castle. Now, how much of it he still has after 39 years, I don't know, but I intend to find out. There were a couple of parts in it that were practically unique to it. And it was when I noticed that those parts were showing up when I was sorting that I realized this man had the yellow castle. And I'm going to try to build it. Tonight, possibly. And that's going to be awesome. But then we get into early Forestmen. This is the castle that my big castle is modeled after. That is an homage to, as it were. More Forestmen. The Black Monarch's castle, one of my favorites as a kid. Wolfpack, loved Wolfpack, even though they only had 2 sets. The Black Falcon's fortress. The Black Knight's castle, loved that one. Didn't have it as a kid, got it now. I think I acquired it in a collection as well as Dr. Flux having it. So I might actually have 2 of it now. Maybe. And then the King's Mountain Fortress, which is one that I actually remember getting that one as a kid. I remember that Christmas when I got that one. I think it was so cool, but secretly really wanting this one. But I had a friend who had this one, so that was a lot of fun. All right, that is the current state of the Lego room. I will be doing a video talking about how I've done my sorting of my bulk parts. It's pretty snazzy. I am loving how it's coming together. In this closet we have all of the sets that I haven't even gotten around to opening and building yet, which just pains me to have that many Lego sets that I haven't even opened. Gonna be sorting the Minifigs, and they're gonna be going into this fancy drawer setup because these are in fact minifig drawers, official Lego minifig drawers that we found at Goodwill. And it should allow me to sort the stuff that I want sorted the way I want it sorted. I have way too much castle to sort into that, but pirate and space, I think I should be able to sort into that tower. So maybe have a whole drawer just of, I think I already have a drawer just of the city. So yeah, there we have it. There is the state of my Lego room, and I cannot tell you how happy it makes me and how much I needed it, especially with times the way they are now. It's wonderful to be able to escape up to here, and the fact that I'm getting sent Lego again by you guys is amazing and baffling, and it's of all the things that I never thought YouTube would result in. I never thought it would result in strangers sending me Lego. That is, I mean, that's a dream come true. That's every little Lego maniac's dreams. That one day Lego shall just come to my house for no reason, and here I am. You people are amazing. Gonna get back to hopefully regularly posting on the Lego channel. I was going to, and then stuff just happened. I mean, like not having the lighting and then getting the lighting, and now I need to figure out a good camera mount, figure out a good camera angle, because that was still kind of an issue. Wasn't happy with the way some of the videos turned out, but I will get it sorted out, and then I will continue to build Lego in here and post videos of it for you guys. I might start doing commentary rather than just fast forwarding it all. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. What would you guys like to see? That is a very important question. What would you guys like to see on this channel that I haven't been doing? Or what do you want more of that I have done or than in the past? What do you want? Let me know. Let me know. Comments down there. Like, subscribe, share. You know how to support channels. Cool. All right. I'm going to go edit this.